Okay, we're going to show you today about the Ninja Warrior 1200 PSI. Okay, one of the most important things to remember about this particular unit is that it does come with two cords. These cords have to be plugged into two separate circuits. They can't be plugged in the same plug. The unit will not operate correctly, and it definitely will blow a fuse. So you do have to find two separate circuits to plug these into. We recommend not using anything larger than a 50-foot extension cord, and like I have here, we want a minimum of a 12 gauge extension cord. So it has to be a minimum of 12 gauge and a maximum of 50 foot. Now, keep it in the back here, I'll just show you, this is where the dump out is going to be, this feature right here, and it's just a simple valve that you lift up, and that's where your water is going to dump out. This is where your vac hose goes right here. Your female quick connector where you hook your solution hose up is right here. This switch turns on the vacuum. The middle switch turns on the water pressure. This third switch is only going to be used if you use the automatic pump out feature. The automatic pump out feature is this cap. When you take this cap off, you'll hook a regular garden hose to this, and you'll run that garden hose to a sink or a toilet. And when this button is on, once it gets full, it'll automatically pump that out. It's a great feature to keep working. This is the same thing. A fresh water garden hose comes in here, and this automatically pumps fresh water into the unit. This is our pressure regulator. This is a variable pressure unit, and you can adjust the pressure between 1200 psi and 0 psi. Okay, if this is the first time you're using this unit, or it's been a while since you've used your unit, you might have to prime it. Typically this is not going to be something you're going to have to worry about, but the unit does come with a small hose here in order to prime. And what we're going to do is we're going to hook this hose into this quick connect here, and we're actually going to aim the end of the hose, which is just cut off, into the solution tank. And then we're going to turn the unit on. Now I'm not going to actually turn this unit on right here, but if I did, the water would flow freely from here, so it's actually coming from the solution tank, and we're going to put it back into the solution tank. If that's not working after about 15 to 20 seconds, then you're probably going to have to turn the vac hose on, and you might have to actually aim this into the vac hose and just cover that up with your hand. And it causes a little bit of suction, so that's going to help prime that water through the pump into the waste tank. Once that's working, all you need to do is shut your vac off and your pump off, and then do it again. Just let it run for about 30 seconds in there to make sure that the pump is primed at that point. With your solution hose, make sure you hook this up before you turn your unit on. That's going to be very important because we don't want any pressure in the line. We would never get that to hook in here. If for some reason you can't get this male and female quick connect to slide in as easy as that, that means there's probably pressure that needs to be relieved out of the line. And that means it was shut down incorrectly. We'll show you that. But you're just going to simply plug that into there. The other end is going to go into the spinner tool. And the same with your vac hose. One end is going to go here, into that, and the other end will go into the vac hose. Once all of this is on, then you can turn your unit on. Do not turn your unit on before, especially before you have the blue solution hose on, or you'll never get them on those couplers. When we're done cleaning, this is probably one of the most important things to remember. We've shut the unit down, we're done cleaning, but there's still pressure in the line, 1200 psi in this line and in the pump. It's very important that we release the pressure. You just release the pressure by keeping the tool on the ground and holding this for about 5 seconds. That's going to be sure it releases all the pressure out of the pump and in the line. If we don't do that, number one, it'll be hard to release this, but that causes some severe damage to the pump. If we leave 1200 psi of pressure in the pump, it will actually damage the pump when you go to turn this on again. So you put the unit away, you clean it up, 2 days later you come to use it again, and there's still 1200 psi in the pump. You could actually blow and ruin that pump. Okay, after you're done at the end of the day, there's a few things that you're going to want to take care of. The very first thing is you're going to want to get the water that's left in the holding tank here out. That water will get stagnant, and there's no reason to leave that in there. So just simply turn your vac hose on and take your vac hose and put it in the solution tank. And that's going to draw all that water out of the solution tank and put it into the waste tank here. Now after you're done doing that, all you're going to do is you're going to take this to an area where you can dump out, and you just lift this valve up right here, and all the water and solution and dirty water and solution is going to come out of this. When you have this there, I would recommend also at least having some type of a hose hooked up to rinse this out here. There's really two filters that we're going to be concerned with. This first one right here is our vacuum filter. And really all you need to do with that is to take a rag and just lightly wipe that off. At the end of the day, it's going to be important. It's going to pick up some lint, and it's going to be important to do that because there is a float valve in there that you want to make sure that's free from any obstruction. The second filter down in here is the automatic pump out filter. And all we do is we unscrew that counterclockwise, we'll pull that out, and we'll want to rinse that out with a hose. So I'm going to unscrew this. I've already got it started unscrewed, so it's just going to come out like this right here. And you can weight this down too, take a hose and spray this down. When you're using this on hard surfaces, there is going to be some pieces of stone and possibly grout lines that'll be in here that you want to make sure that this is free from any obstructions. As long as you can kind of see through it, this is fine. So you're just going to put that back in and screw that back in, and you're all set. Okay, the last filter that you're going to want to do, you can see it zoomed in here, and I'll actually pull that out so you can get a better view. That just screws out as well, and that's actually your fresh water filter. That's going to protect your pump. So the fresh water that comes in, it's going to make sure it protects it from anything that might possibly get into that. So we're just going to reach down in here and unscrew that counterclockwise, and you'll see that even this one here, the little bit that we've used, it has some stuff on it. So we're definitely going to want to make sure that we rinse this off. Once this is rinsed off, we can just put that right back in. Okay, one of the important things that we need to keep in mind if we're going to be transporting this out of the facility is that these units do freeze. If the weather ever gets below 32 degrees or below, they will freeze. So I recommend carrying this either in a heated van, definitely in a heated van, but even if you do that, the time you take it from outside your facility to the van to a new facility, you want to make sure that you protect it with some antifreeze. This is a very simple process. So just like when we were priming the pump, what we would do is we would actually put a little bit of water in here and a little bit of antifreeze, and then we're just going to run that antifreeze through all the lines. We're going to run the antifreeze through the lines simply by hooking this up, turning the unit on, and making sure that it runs through into this into the holding tank here. And that's actually going to run the antifreeze through the pump. Now, one other thing that's very important is that if you're going to be transporting some of your tools, you're going to want to hook your solution hose up to here onto your spinner tool and run it for a few seconds. I would say probably 15 or 20 seconds at least, so that you make sure that you get that antifreeze through this. There's a lot of valves and areas here where water is held, and that will freeze as well. So we definitely don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we get that covered. Now, once your unit has been winterized, to make sure that it's not going to freeze for transportation purposes, before you start your job, you're going to want to flush the antifreeze out. And it's simple as filling the solution tank full of water and flushing it out. You can flush it out with this unit right here into an approved sewer line, or you can run it through, especially if you did run it through your spinner tools, you're going to want to do that. Just a quick note too, the antifreeze that you're going to want to use is going to be the same antifreeze that you use for an RV. The same thing that's going to protect the water lines and stuff for an RV, so it's environmentally friendly, and that's the best stuff to use.